Hello, this is Lindy with Basecamp, and today we're going to be talking about just some of the changes that were made in 2019 to our markdowns and our inventory management system. So as our system and inventory levels continue to grow and develop, so do our strategies for efficiently completing markdowns and executing sales to move through our aging inventory, while, of course, paying attention to our bottom line. Today, we're going to be talking about the specific changes that were made to the markdown system, why they were made, and how to utilize the tools and strategies to keep your product turning without killing your COGS. So thanks for sticking with us during a few years of big changes in our markdown system. In 2 years, we've had 2 major system changes with our markdown system. In 2018, we innovated and switched to the dot sticker system, where we pen dotted all items that were on the sales floor that had blank tags. While doing the markdowns, if an item already had a pen dot, it got a sticker. We saw some really great things with this new system, and were able to take several steps in the right direction. The goal was to eliminate the number of touches per item and to speed up the process with not having to handwrite on each tag. This process also cleaned up the tags without all the handwritten scribbles. But another thing that we found was that we did see a little bump in our COGS due to items being marked down out of season. Items ended up getting marked down instead of being pulled from the floor. So this especially took place during the transition months like February and September. Throughout the year, we have been looking into the pros and cons of the switch. I think most can agree that the pros outweigh the cons, but there was some room for improvement. And the main area that I want to focus on today is COGS. As you can see here, there was a slight bump in average used COGS from 2017 to 2018. That 1% doesn't seem too harmful. However, as we go through this presentation, I want you to remember that decreasing COGS by 1% typically results in a 10% increase in profitability. So that was a big focus as we evaluated 2018. How can we keep our markdown system as close to the sticker system while taking a few measures to preserve COGS? So that led us to these slight changes to our 2019 markdown system, where our 2 main goals were to decrease touches and save time, and to preserve COGS by eliminating marking down out of season and slower turning departments. A good example of a slower turning department would be jeans. We have to have a large selection of jeans on the floor to sell a couple. So let's start with a video showing exactly what the 2019 markdown system is.
At Uptown, it's important that we always have fresh product out for sale so that our shoppers have the newest and best selection. That means we need to constantly be marking down items that we may have overpriced or that we made a mistake buying in the first place. To do this, we use a system of colored stickers to show our shoppers what's on sale. Once an item has been stickered, it's progressively discounted until it sells. First at 25%, then 50%, then 70%. If it doesn't sell at 70% off, it will be included in the Dollar Day sale or fill-a-bag sale held at the end of the season. Now that you understand the stickered markdown system a little bit better, let's go to how to do markdowns quickly and effectively. We'll start at the buyer notebook, which is kept behind the counter. This shows all of the sections that need to be marked down for the month. Your manager will use this to make assignments and schedule when markdowns are to be done for a certain section. I've been assigned girls' medium and large tops, so I'll start there. Your buyer notebook and annual priorities monthly sections give detailed instructions on which color of stickers you're marking down with and what should be stickered. The March instructions show that we are stickering in green, so I'll take a green roll of stickers as well as a markdown gun if my store uses them. If your store doesn't have a markdown gun, you'll just place stickers by hand. I'll also want to bring a Sharpie in case I need to hard mark any tags. And the last thing I need is the designated signage for that month. For March, you'll use the sign that indicates green are new arrivals and blue are 25% off. I've got my supplies, so let's head to the section. Start at one end of the rack and look at the tag on the first item. This tag is blank with no sticker. What this means is we have bought this item sometime in the last 30 days, or we just brought it out from the back stock. We want to give this item another month to sell at the marked price, but we need to indicate that it was out for sale this month. To do that, I'm going to put a sticker in the corner. This item already has a sticker. I don't need to do anything more except to make sure that it's hanging in the right section. If it's in the wrong size, I need to take it off the rack so it can be re-merchandised in the right place. Some items will say the right size on the tag, but were clearly marked incorrectly. So I'm going to write the correct size on the tag so that it can go to the right spot. Be aware, this is not the time to organize and colorize a section. Just make sure that things are in the right place. This tag says new item and looks a little bit different from regular tags. This means that it came from a wholesale merchant, not from one of our customers. We handle these items a little differently and want to allow a new product to sell a little longer than our used product at full price. We don't use stickers, and we will use what we call a hard markdown on this when it's time to go on sale. That means that we cross out the original price and write the new one underneath. When you find new product on the rack, don't mark it down unless your manager tells you to. Once you've completed the markdowns, don't forget to replace the markdown signage throughout the entire store. Keep the signage that you're removing in a safe place because these were designed to be reused over and over again. We just finished green stickering everything. I'll put up a sign that indicates green stickers are new arrivals and blue are 25% off. Then go to the buyer notebook and initial next to the section to show that it's been completed. Some months will have additional instructions to skip or be selective on certain categories, like spring apparel, short sleeve shirts, skirts, and dresses in February, or skipping sweaters and jeans in August. Take time to read the instructions in the buyer notebook before you start markdowns. That's all there is to it.
So what is our standard for markdowns? As stated on the store visit evaluation checklist and in the annual priorities, a store must complete and log monthly markdowns using approved systems. Basically, what it comes down to is inventory must be marked down on a monthly basis. The quickest way to lose your customer base is to have the same items in the racks visit after visit at the same price. Inventory must be transferred out or pulled from the sales floor at the end of the 6-month markdown cycle. The stores need to be getting through all back stock each season. Your success truly depends on having racks full of fresh in-season inventory. I also want to take a second to clear up a few things that have come up in conversations we've recently had. You will not be penalized if you use stamps versus stickers. And if you really loved doing that PennDOT versus stickering a month in advance, that is fine. Keep in mind that it does add an extra step into the process, so plan accordingly. We look at several things in determining if stores are following an approved system, and the main thing we are looking at is your inventory fresh? Now let's talk about what Basecamp supports. We support the sticker markdown system, meaning our training materials will all reflect the sticker markdown system. And also, we provided you with beautiful signs that can be reused over and over. This will also save you time and frustration in having to print signs each month. Make sure to have them in a safe place so you know just where to find them when that color rolls around again. We will also not be able to customize markdown percentages for you. This allows us to advertise this important information in all of our promotional signage, emails, on social media, and also create a consistent brand message. So here are some examples of emails and dressing room signage where we're able to advertise that markdown message. So the official system is that we are no longer dotting, that stickers are applied 1 month prior to the item going on sale, and then each month signage will indicate which color is which percent off, and the color that you just stickered will be your new arrivals. If this is sounding confusing at all, don't stress, because your annual priorities and buyer notebook gives you a very detailed instructions on what to do each month. In fact, here are a couple cautions that are given in the annual priorities instructions. Because we are stickering 30 days in advance of when the item will be discounted, you do not want to sticker out of season items. And then also, you'll want to review monthly pages for guidelines. For instance, this example on the screen is for February, which is one of our main transition months, where you still have winter product on the floor, but have your spring products starting to come out. So you are instructed to selectively mark down spring. So things like short sleeve shirts, skirts, dresses, and pants. Selectively means only mark down spring stuff that maybe shouldn't have been bought in the first place. There should have been very few markdowns in February. We don't want to mark down our great fresh spring product that is just coming out, because that blue sticker means that in March, that item will automatically be 25% off. So you don't want that fresh product marked down when people are just starting to shop for it. You are also instructed to skip things like jeans, accessories, bags, and shoes, and then some other winter categories like sweaters, coats, and long sleeve shirts. Keep in mind, this is your more current winter product that has not yet received a markdown. The marked down older product should have gone out with your semi-annual sale. Then at the end of the month, you will pull those items from the floor to come out next year. If it got stickered in your February markdown cycle, it would then go through a full markdown cycle. Sales really start to slow down in those categories, because who wants to buy a heavy sweater in the spring and summer? And then it will end up in your summer semi-annual, or even worse, end up selling for $1 or go into a fill-a-bag. So save your margins by following the guidelines given each month in the annual priorities and buyer notebook. To show an example of this, each store was given a very valuable piece of paper at the annual meeting. So this sheet will show you your total new and used COGS every month for the last 14 months. But even better, it showed you your 5 categories with the highest COGS each month. If you did not get this and want to see it, please reach out to your support rep. So we noticed that our highest COGS often happen in transition months like February and August, where items stickered out of season, like I said, they don't really sell, and if it does, it sells at a huge discount. So things that we're looking for here is, would it have made more sense in months like January and February for shorts to have been off the floor? If we would have pulled those and replaced our shorts with higher selling categories like sweaters and maybe jeans and things like that, then we probably wouldn't see those high COGS on women's and men's shorts. And I know that all of you have probably experienced this, that men's shorts are really, really hard to get in. And so most likely those would have sold at full price if they were just coming onto the floor instead of selling at a 66% COGS. So this type of thing is pretty consistent across the board. So here were just some categories that really probably shouldn't have seen this high of cost of goods. Shorts and sleeveless in those winter months. Pull those off the floor and bring them back out in their season rather than having them occupy space on the floor and then taking such a deep discount. Here's a couple examples of a store in April. You'll notice that sweaters and jackets and outerwear are taking a huge COGS hit. If you could increase the amount of space you have allocated to tanks and pull all sweaters, you'll sell them for better margins. So really what we're seeing is that if it's possible to pull out of season inventory off the sales floor entirely, it's better on COGS. The way you can get away with that is by having sufficient inventory that is in season to fill the racks. Stores that don't carry much inventory don't have the opportunity to switch their store entirely around. So those of you that received your COGS paper at annual meetings, take a look at it, hold on to it, and use it to make better decisions in how you can save your COGS in those transition months. So another way to save on COGS is with your new product. I was looking at a store that threw their new product into a fill-a-bag and their COGS took a real beating. So our recommendation is do not sticker new product. Once that sticker is applied, it will follow the regular markdown system and your new product will take a deeper discount each month. We obviously start with a smaller margin on new products, so it is important to watch those a little closer. You certainly can't forget about new product and just let it sit on the rack without any markdowns just because you paid more for it. But we recommend marking down new product in these months with a hard mark, meaning that we handwrite the price with a Sharpie marker. This ensures that the product doesn't get lumped into the sticker markdown cycle, but also make sure that the inventory is turning appropriately. Staying on schedule is another really important piece to preserving COGS. If you follow the recommended schedule, that will help ensure that each item is getting 30 days to sell at full price before going to the markdown. Use the monthly calendar in the annual priorities to set deadlines for your staff. Here is the calendar for March. So you should have completed applying your green stickers the last week of February. You had your anniversary sale on that Friday and Saturday, and then hopefully hung your March markdown signage on the 3rd, alerting your customers that new arrivals are now green and blue is 25% off. Then we've got our BOGO sale coming up on March 28th to the 31st. On April 1st, you will put up your new signs that educate customers that red stickers are now new arrivals. And then, of course, throughout that week, finishing stickering in red. So you can also see here that April is another selective markdown month. So you want to look at the April markdown notes closely so items don't get marked down prematurely. So as you can see here, the annual priorities and buyer notebook give you a step-by-step guide to keep on track and marking down smart. Another element that was incorporated into our schedule for this year are BOGO sales. This is one in March, and there's one in March and another one in June and September this year. The buy one, get one format encourages larger transactions and helps move multiple markdown items. And the timing of the BOGO sale is designed to help preserve COGS because it's basically a free marketing opportunity that ends up being 50% off of blue stickers. We have scheduled this sale the last weekend of the month, right before blue stickers go to 50% off anyway. So the benefit of this to you is that you can really hype up the BOGO sale without any real discount or major changes to COGS. So watch for these sales in the priorities. They were tested and are really effective at moving product and saving COGS. I also want to make sure I cover the importance of signage. One of the common things that we saw throughout store visits in 2018 was that many stores were not advertising their markdowns very well. Signage is one very important way to educate our customers on what the stickers mean. Scripting is another very critical piece, of course. How many of us have been persuaded to buy something simply because it was on markdown and you didn't want to miss a good deal? So where should the signs be positioned? Dressing rooms. This is such an important place to be advertising your markdowns. Customers tend to actually read the signs that are in the dressing rooms while they are trying things on. So utilize those snap frames and make sure that you have the markdown signage in there. Your front counter, but even more important, the buy station. While vendors are checking in, make sure that they see and are told about the markdown. Give them a reason to take their payment in store credit and get in the rack and shop while they wait. Of course, make sure that your floor racks and your outriggers include the markdown signage. And also, don't forget the front door. Get your customers in the mindset that there are sales going on right as they open your front door. So we will go through this full markdown cycle twice throughout the year and end each one with a semi-annual sale. I want to know, how have the first 2 months gone? What's working? What do you like so far? And what questions do you have? Make sure to reach out to your support rep if you have any questions. We've had questions about how effective different aspects of the semi-annual sale have been. So we did a deep dive into a lot of different store sales to see what worked and what takeaways we can share with you. So in our evaluation, the ultimate goal of our semi-annual sale process is to move through the remaining inventory that didn't sell during the spring, summer, or fall, winter season. We need to move through those items to free up space for the upcoming season and ensure you don't carry over a bunch of product into the next year. So kind of what we found is, as you're determining how to conduct the semi-annual sale, some questions to ask are, what are total sales during the entire semi-annual sales cycle? How many items did we move through? How long was clearance taking up space on the floor instead of full price product? Like, did it drag out too long? What did we have left over? And what was the overall margin for the entire period? So here's the reality. We looked at a lot of sales and honestly don't have a solid answer for the perfect way to hold a semi-annual sale. I encourage you to make notes and really evaluate the semi-annual sales process that you just completed by answering some of those questions we just went over and thinking of ways to make July's semi-annual sale even better. And the biggest question that we tried to answer was whether a certain type of concluding event was better than the other. So here are some of the sales that we've recommended and seen you do in the past. So you need to determine, do I do a fill-a-bag, a dollar days with a range of prices, or a true $1 dollar day sale? After reviewing all of these different types of sales, there was no one-size-fits-all model. Some stores did the exact same sale but had completely different results based on the amount of product that they had to move through and the quality that remained and the length of the sale. So make sure to evaluate your remaining inventory to determine how aggressive that you need to be, and make sure that you start with the least aggressive version first. Some of the things that we came up with of kind of things to try is going from 80% off to maybe a fill-a-bag. And then if you still have a lot of remaining items from there, you can go to a $1 sale. One other thing that we found with fill-a-bags is that maybe some of our stores seem to maybe go to a fill-a-bag a little bit too soon, where I saw the video that they did and they had a lot of really great product that was going into that fill-a-bag sale. So one thing that we consider doing is maybe charging a little bit more for that bag. So instead of charging $15, maybe you do $25 if you have really great product. And then from there going to the $1 sale. Or going from 80% off to that dollar days that has 1, 3, 5, and maybe even $10 items. And then wrapping it up maybe the next week with whatever you have left. Do a $1 sale. And also doing the $1, 3, $5 sale, and then goes to a fill-a-bag from there. So again, this is where you need to kind of evaluate your inventory to see what situation makes the most sense for you. Our Chambersburg Kid to Kids store kind of had an interesting method of what they've been doing with their fill-a-bags, and had 3 different sizes of bags. So their smallest bag was $15, medium size was $30, and they had a large bag that was $75. So again, that's maybe an approach that if you have some good stuff that's gone through the markdown cycle, but ends up in a fill-a-bag, that could be a good opportunity for you. So let's talk about after you go through this whole clearance process and you've done a fill-a-bag or you've done a dollar day sale, now what? So evaluate your remaining inventory to see if it just makes sense to transfer it out. If you don't have a lot remaining, or if it's just kind of bad stuff that you know, it's gone through a fill-a-bag, it's gone through a dollar days, nobody wants it, then at that point it may make sense to just transfer it out. Or do you have a lot remaining? If so, does it make sense to save it for your next fill-a-bag sale? This strategy actually makes a lot of sense because you are pulling out the winter items that didn't sell at the end of that winter clearance cycle. So obviously you're going into the spring and summer season when people are hungry for spring product. So those sweaters aren't as appealing to them at that point. But if you keep these items and bring them out at the start of the winter season, people are just starting to shop sweaters again. So during that January semi-annual sale, they'll be excited to see sweaters and things like that in the fill-a-bag sale. So that could be a really good opportunity to give those items one last try. And then, of course, after that, it would need to be transferred out, whatever doesn't sell. So in conclusion, the changes to the 2019 markdown systems have been implemented to help us save COGS along the way by not marking down out-of-season product and helping it to sell at the height of its season. So pay close attention to the recommendations made each month and follow the cycle to ensure items are not being marked down prematurely. As I've mentioned several times, these instructions are noted in the annual priorities and your buyer notebook. Don't waste precious space with aging inventory, holding out for that full $9.99. Mark it down, move it out, and replace it with something fresh. And as mentioned before, each clearance season could be completely different from the other. Once you go through the semi-annual sales cycle, take a good look at what remains before determining what option of clearance sale is best for you. Thanks for listening, and let us know if you have any questions.